Salut tout le monde, je m'appelle Patrick. Ciao ragazzi, mi chiamo Patrick. Hola chicos, ¿qué tal? Me llamo Patrick. Yo nitwa Patrick, amakuruki. What's up guys, your boy P here. So these are 5 languages that I speak fluently. And I want to share with you the ways that I use that were very organic for me to learn those languages. The number one way to learn a language is to move to that country. As for example, for me, I speak my first language is Kenya, Rwanda, because I grew up in Rwanda. So move to that country and then immerse yourself with the culture and the language, and I guarantee you in 6 months you'll be speaking that language. But make sure that if you move to a country to learn a language, don't move to the big metropolitan areas, big cities where they speak your language. I see that mistake happen all the time, where you move to a town and then you start hanging out with people who speak the same language as you, and then a few months later you still have not learned the language because conveniently it was easy for you to speak the same language that you already know. So if you move to a country where you want to learn that language, try to move into a smaller town where not everybody speaks, let's say French or Spanish or language that you speak. Then you're going to have to be forced to learn that language. When I was a kid, I remember growing up in Africa, Russia was offering a lot of scholarships to college students in Rwanda, and they were going to study in Russia. And then it was so crazy when they came back, they spoke fluent Russian. Because they moved to Russia, they had to learn how to speak the language. So you have no choice. So move to a country, learn the language, don't hang out with expats, and then in 6 months, you will be really, really good at speaking that language. I wanted to share how I learned how to speak Italian. I was a teenager, and we had a friend of ours who only spoke Italian, and he moved to Africa, so he could not speak anything but Italian. And the way to communicate with him, we had to learn how to speak Italian. And I still remember to this day how I learned a few basics. I know how to count to 1 to 10. And then learn how to conjugate 2 verbs, to be and to have. If you have those 2 verbs and you know how to conjugate them in the present tense, then you can start a conversation in a lot of languages. As my Italian started getting better and better, and then I started practicing with a lot of Italians, and then I got really good real fast. So another way to learn a language, and that helped me a lot also with all the languages that I speak, was listen to music, because when you listen to music, you learn expressions, and expressions are hard to learn from books. So listen to music, your favorite songs, you keep hearing the same words, and then you try to figure out what they mean. So you learn how to put expressions together. Like in English, how to fall in love or get on a bus and stuff like that. Then you learn that from songs, and then now you can just practice that expression. And then also for me, another way I was able to learn English, as an example, was watching movies with subtitles. So you watch a movie, at first it makes no sense, so you're reading all the subtitles and you're not really listening to what they're saying. But then after a while, you start hearing the same words and you know what that means now. And now you keep learning subliminally a few words here and there. And then in no time, you're going to now just watch the movie without even reading the subtitles. That's when you know you have mastered the language. Those 2 ways, music and movies, have helped me tremendously learning a language. The last way to learn a language, and I've seen a lot of people make that mistake of not really applying this last point, is just jump in and practice what you learn. Because everybody always said, practice makes perfect, right? So you have to practice what you learn. So once you know how to conjugate a few verbs, you learn a few expressions, you learn a few new words. Now you got to put the whole thing together to see if it works, if it sticks. And the best way to do it is jump in and start talking to locals. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. I see that all the time. Human nature is kind of like to freeze because you're afraid to look stupid. Just jump in. Jump in and then make as many mistakes as you can. That's the only way you're going to learn a language. Another easy way to engage with locals is learning how to say, how are you and I love you. Because when you know those two things, it puts people at ease and they want to engage more with you if you know how to say that. I probably know how to say how are you and I love you in like 20 plus languages. You know, halechetori, kakosi, kef halek. So just a few words I just said right there to say how are you in 3 different languages that I don't speak. But when I meet somebody from that country, you know, and I say, como está você? And if it's somebody who speaks Portuguese, then they're going to be like, oh, you speak Portuguese? You know, of course I don't, but it kind of like starts a conversation. In my professional life, I was able to use some of those how are you just to break the ice with a few of my clients. As an example, I met the CEO of Pioneer, and he's from Japan. And of course, I know how to say, my name is Patrick is in Japanese. Boku no namae wa Patrick desu. And he was like shocked when I said that to him. And it kind of broke the ice, and it was so much easier to conversate with him after that. So anyway, guys, hope you like what I just shared with y'all. Please subscribe, like the video, share it, and comment, of course. And thank you for watching.